Hello YouTube, this is the Nerdy Tribunal. I'm Derek. Victor's over there, Tom's beside me, and Ernest is over there. Thought I'd mix it up a little. Today we're going to talk about news breaking about... That made no sense. Breaking news? Breaking news? Is it breaking news? It's not that.
News can break.
I don't think it's breaking, but it's news.
Okay,
it's like, whoa, news just broke.
I'd do this again, but I don't want to waste my time.
A cow is... Never mind.
We're not going to edit this. We're just going to leave it in here.
I'm going to totally leave it in there, by the way.
Please do. I'm not going to do this again. Anyways, there's news regarding Marvel maybe starting to a new segment in their storylines, I guess, right? Or at least create new characters that are more Asian-based to break into the Asian market.
Yep.
So, like, right now, the only three maybe Asian characters I can think of top of my head. Mind you, remember, I'm no expert in any kind of characters. Is Psylocke, Amadeus Cho, Jubilee is like half Asian, or she looks Asian to me.
Jubilee's Asian.
Yeah, and basically all the entirety of the Hand.
There's a lot more Asian.
And anyone that trained Iron Fist. Does that count? Like, look, sorry,
there's not a lot of like truly Asian.
I guess no one even say major.
Yeah. It's so not like an Iron Man, Asian Iron Man.
Yeah, because the only like Psylocke would be one of the biggest.
She started off white. So.
Oh, is she?
She's white apparently. Well, no, she was white. She's the sister of Captain Britain. So she is born white. I did
not know that. I did not.
Mind swap into different bodies, and she got her mind transferred into the body of
the current Psylocke that we see.
Which was an Asian assassin. She was an Asian assassin.
Well, that totally okay. Well, I guess Nouveau Psylocke is
Asian. Like there's a few, but they're never major. It's someone like Death Strike, right?
Lady Deathstrike.
Lady Deathstrike.
Yeah.
She's Japanese.
Yeah.
So Wolverine's ex-wife at some point.
Yeah, Mariko. Silver Samurai.
Oh yeah, from him. Yeah,
but they're not major.
They're kind of just sprinkled and scattered in there.
The most like prominent one right now you can say is probably Amadeus Cho, which is the new Hulk, right?
Yeah.
And that's a fairly new one. It's not like how long ago was that? That's not long ago when he was first.
2 years ago.
Yeah. So even 10 years ago when the MCU started, there wasn't even an Asian Hulk.
Yeah.
So it's progressing, I guess.
And I know that fact that Iron Fist was originally written and kind of introduced based off the big kung fu film hype when Bruce Lee came up as an actor and prominence in North America, and not just them, but like there's a lot of big hype in North America about learning kung fu. Right? Or as Jackie Chan, Kung Fu, he was just use the proper Cantonese.
Shang-Chi, there you go, there's another one.
Who's that? I have no clue.
He's like, he partnered up with Iron Fist. He's basically Asian Iron Fist without the Iron Fist. So he's a Kung Fu master.
A regular, stereotypical Asian dude.
Because there's only one Iron Fist, right?
That's true, that's right. Also, you say Shang Tsung. I know Shang Tsung.
It's Marvel's Shang Tsung.
Marvel's Shang Tsung. Soul-eating... a menacing dude. Okay.
Yeah, so there's none, and now they have said that they're making two.
Two specifically. One was, they said, was named Swordmaster, and the other one was Arrow. Like, not the bow and arrow, but AERO. So kind of like a wind base, you can kind of think of a character.
So, the bubbly chocolate that no one really likes. You know when you get Halloween? Like, everybody get the Smarties, you get
I'll eat the Arrow, okay?
You get the Smarties, then you get the Coffee Crisp, the Kit Kat, and then the Arrow package, right?
For those...
No one eats the Smarties.
Wait.
That's the poor man's M&M.
No, for those that aren't from Canada, Smarties is like an M&M ripoff, basically.
Yes, it's basically a worse version of M&M.
It actually doesn't, like, it actually tastes different, and it's not good because the chocolate's no good. But like Arrow is like the ugly cousin of M&M, and that stuff. No one likes it. I grew to like it because my sister didn't eat it. So like, oh snap! Like I get more chocolate. Screw you. So I ended up liking Arrow growing up because as a result.
Quantity over quality.
Watch another of our videos about chocolate bars, but this one Asian character. So Arrow, you're talking about wind base. Are we talking about maybe you're seeing something more like a the Avatar, like Last Airbender kind of situation?
What they said in the article was that they're trying to base it more off kind of like historical and mythological aspects of Asian culture. So you can think of maybe a lot of like Asian deities that are wind based. Like I can't remember Chinese one, but like I know in Japan, like Fujin was the wind god and whatnot. So maybe something along the lines of that. When you think of Swordmaster, you can kind of maybe think along the lines of maybe a Silver Samurai where they can enhance their sword, or maybe someone that can pull swords out of thin air and.
Yeah, so maybe they
more.
wouldn't want to repeat another kind of similar character like a Silver Samurai. So instead of going with a Japanese samurai, you go with some sort of Chinese swordsman, or maybe a Mongolian one, because
and we have a lot of other cultures to tap into, right? Like I think their target market is likely China, like Asia, because that's
the
huge
biggest
market to
yeah.
tap into. But it would be nice to see like if they kind of like it's likely they're going to make a Chinese or China-based character, but it'd be nice to see if they tap into other Asian countries. Well, there's like a huge, vast history and culture of martial arts in every single Asian country, and it's insanely interesting. And you can remember that stupid show. I say stupid. I watched it a lot. The Ultimate Weapon, or the what was that?
I thought you were gonna say Rikio.
No, not Rikio. Remember the thing where they took warriors from different...
Deadliest Warrior.
Deadliest Warrior. I thought that was like interesting because then you get a little bit really poor introduction to certain other cultures' way of fighting in martial arts. And I feel that this would be a good platform for that, but I don't think they're going to reach that platform. They're going to reach into the Asian market by creating...
The thing about this is, it's not the first time you've seen this in comics. Marvel has done this in the past before with Indian Spider-Man. DC has done it with Asian Superman. Yeah. So it's not like it hasn't been done before, but I can see why they would do it to break into these new markets. Yeah. It definitely does help.
But they're creating a new character. Like those ones weren't new characters, they're just like rebranding, right?
Well, they have their own origin story and everything.
But it's the same character, right? It's the
same. It's just renamed.
It's a Spider-Man, just renamed.
Well, like if you want to bring it up, look at the most recent one. Marvel, they decided for their Future Fight app, a game for mobile phones. They created a Korean pop star.
Oh yeah. I read that about that.
So
that's for selling. That's strictly marketing purposes.
Yeah,
right?
But it's like the same thing basically. But instead of doing it for an app, they're doing it for a comic book. Right? So
this one seems like they'll have more of a story because they're trying to make. It's a comic book. They need a story. It's not just there for flashiness, right? But it's interesting to see where they're going to go with. Because one is Swordmaster, right?
Yeah.
So
obviously something sword related. Is it?
Jokes on us. He uses like throwing stars only. So we call ourselves Swordmaster to trick you, and he like throws all the throwing stars and they die.
Yeah.
But I was like,
but you're looking at it and it's going. Is he going to be super powered, or she? I guess. Are they going to be super powered where, like you said, pull out random swords out of thin air? Or is it going to be a master swordsman? And are they going to maybe step on the toes of a previous character like a Silver Samurai?
Yeah, like I think the biggest thing is how they're going to incorporate it into the comic book and how it's going to make it relevant.
Yeah.
It's easy to kind of have a one-off story where you have this random character. They've done it before, like where they bring in, like, oh, here's this character, shows up for like maybe a year and then disappears.
Yeah.
Right?
So
and comic book sales kind of attribute to that also, if they last a little longer.
Yeah. So, like, what, like, Victor said, like, okay, maybe it's based off some, like, the Asian myths and, like, it could be based off. I personally think that'll be a great idea because, it's a little bit of, like, you know how, like, Thor is based off Norse mythology, like, literally. And then, but they built the world around all the names.
Well, they have, like, Hercules as well in the Marvel comics.
It's easier to make a good story, that has a background already.
Yeah, so, like, there's tons of mythical stories. Stories about mythical characters and deities in Chinese history. I'm going to use China as its main base because I think that's the biggest market and likely market Marvel's going to tap into. Like, I'm pretty sure the Japanese market would be huge as well. It's just China's just 1.6 plus billion people.
Japanese would be hard because they have manga.
They have
manga.
So manga. They have a few characters based out of there already, right? This is like to get that market, you had to really dig deep. So, like, it'd be nice if they start doing that, but. Like, how much of an origin story do you guys think this should be? Like, do you feel it has to tie into something that's already been kind of already in Marvel, or should it just be its own? And then in the future they'll find some way to tie them together. Because I presume they're going to write it in parts. Like if they're smart, like I think if they're smart about it, they write in the 616 universe. It's not going to be its own kind of like own universe, right?
I can see the Swordmaster maybe not being written with some sort of, based on some sort of deity or
Story,
some story kind of like a Norse.
He's like a
like
person.
a Thor kind of
It's
thing.
gonna be a
But
person.
I can see Arrow being because the wind-based situation,
Yeah.
where maybe you tap into the power of some sort of god, like Black Panther.
Like idol, is right?
Because if they're really trying to break in, it'll be a lot easier for the readers, especially someone that's maybe not so much into comics, to kind of relate upon something they maybe learned in school or something they learned in their childhood, right? So, and especially in Asian countries, religion and like deities and whatnot is a big factor, right? So it's easy to kind of have that kind of connection. It'll make it easier to kind of start the sales.
So should it connect? But how do you think it should connect into what's the 616, or they should have building their own universe? Like it should be, I won't say a standalone per se, but like it could be their own universe where they can tie in other Marvel characters, but only within their own universe.
It'll be nice to see because you don't see too much like representation of China or Hong Kong in the 616. There's a lot of Japan and like, North America for sure. Africa is Wakanda and whatnot. So
Europe. Don't
so it'll be nice to see a little more Asian representation in the comics based upon that. But.
I think it would be, for them to do that, and now that the MCU is such a big thing, a lot of the comic books are written to kind of appease the movies too, where it leaves a possibility of throwing certain characters into the movies because that's the biggest money maker now, right? So it would be the logical move to do. It wouldn't make sense for them to put it in a separate universe where it's one and done kind of comic book series, and you don't need that, right? What's the point of making these characters?
If you bring up the whole movie thing, look at how well Justice League did in China, right? So it's easy to kind of have, if you have that to base it off of, you can build off of that and gather more viewers because hey, you're gonna make so much money off the box office in China, why not?
Yeah, and it's, if you have, let's say, and we're going with China, a Chinese character. Let's say they are liked in the comics. Maybe Feige wants to throw them into one of these movies, and China only lets so many Hollywood movies into their country a year. So having an Asian or a Chinese representation in a movie, they will almost automatically take it.
Yeah, and that could be big bucks right there, right?
Huge. Is how many are in China? Billion people?
1.6 billion. But that was like the fancy number, like, literally 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
10 years ago.
That was
Think
10
about
years
that.
ago, right? Like, so like I guess this is the last thing I want to talk about is what do you think the likelihood of this being successful? Let's try to be like kind of.
It's
gonna be tough.
Yeah.
Regardless of what it is, not even talking about an Asian character, it's always kind of hit or miss, and it's based on the storytelling.
Yeah.
Because if they're not cool enough, people aren't going to.
Yeah, because I think it's kind of hard because you have such a big plethora of like superheroes already. How do you make one that's original, has a good story, that's relevant? Because I think the relevancy bit is probably the most important bit if you're introducing a new character. It's just like, oh, hey, I can relate to this. It's like when you watched Spider-Man as a kid, right? Like it's like, oh, it's like if you're in high school or like in college or something, like, hey, I understand what that means or feels like. Like same thing with X-Men, like, oh, I can understand what it feels like to be a kid or like reading through it, growing up, like all this teenage angst and whatever, right? Like, I don't know. I really don't know how well they'll do. It seems like a good business move. Question is the execution going to be there, and do they still have the ability to do that? I don't know.
It's all storytelling. You look at any other established one like Fantastic Four and all that. There's times where it's just a miss, and
like I feel like I'm to be absolutely honest, if I had to give an answer, I think it's likely to fail. It's because it's such a closed market in Asia. It's like you basically they have to write something that won't get censored. Right? It can't be censored, so they can't bring any political theme into it. It has to be all story-based, right? And it has to fit the narrative. It can't make Asia or specifically China look bad in it, right? So like your story starts get your topics of discussion starts getting narrowed down based on censorship, and then your end product is a very, like I would always say, like assembly line built story, and like to me that I don't feel like it's going to be a big success. Like that's why hopefully that they base it off mythicism, and like if they did like a whole like Monkey King arc type thing, that would be really awesome. Like Marvel's version of Monkey King.
I somehow think they already did that.
Yeah, it
But
just
I would
seems
have
like
to
you
double
wouldn't.
check.
It's probably
It seems like
somehow.
something you should like wouldn't. It's something that you would probably do anyone really.
Yeah.
Because it's so
Right, like Marvel's version of Dragon Ball kind of thing, right? Like that'll be kind of cool, right? But anyways, we'll bring this discussion to an end, I guess. So let us know what you feel about Marvel's decision on trying to break into the Asian market with two newly created and maybe more Asian-based characters. Let us know in the comments. Let us know if you think it's going to be successful. It's going to be is this a bad idea? Are you looking forward to it? I don't know. I'm so indifferent and kind of blah right now. So let us know in the comments below. Please like our video, subscribe to our channel, and follow us on social media. And have a good night.
Why does it have to be Chinese? Can't it be Vietnamese?
Well, I said
Machete Swordmaster.
you could, but we have 1.6 billion people.